You gotta create something that you're willing to commit your life to. And I'm not gonna lie, when I read that, like I really questioned my life. I'm like, dang, am I really building something right now that I want to commit my life to? And this is where, guys, I think tying your vision into your company can make something ordained like real estate investing into something really spiritual, something really impactful, something really powerful. Is my vision for what I want to see happen in the world. Can my business help accomplish that? And if you're here today, thanks for showing up. Seriously, I want you to know, like, I really am trying to create and come up, like, I want you to know I have a plan to help you, like, over the next several weeks, months in this show. And if you will show up for an hour, I promise you, we will help you grow and scale your real estate portfolio to whatever you want it to be. There were guys in the room this week who were guys who were at that 2 years ago they were at, or 3 years ago they were at $0. Today they're at over $150 million of assets under management. Mark 2016 they started their real estate company, Andy, and today they're at over 600 million of assets under management. And so all I'm saying is it is so possible for you to get to where you want to get to, but you got to follow the steps, right? Like you got to begin to implement some of these things. And this is the accelerator learning. And I always say this all the time. I am just sharing what I'm learning and applying. That's all I can do. I am not the $1 billion real estate investor yet. I'm on my way, trust me. To go back to Whitney, what Whitney shared I thought was so powerful. And he talked about his vision and mission. And do you remember that when he said like how important his vision is when he's communicating that to investors, like how that makes him stand out? Give me your feedback from what Whitney shared on just his vision and mission, because that's what we're gonna be talking about today.
Yeah, man. You always hear about know, like, and trust, but for him, it's really about that extra. And I think that's so important, is the loyalty piece.
Yeah.
Like show up to give, right? That's his thing. Like every person he talks to, including guys that are just starting in the business, a long conversation with a group of us about just kind of how he sucked at it at first. He just decided, hey, I'm going to have a podcast every day and I'm just going to do whatever it takes. And the only way that I'm going to bring on people to talk on my podcasts is if they add value.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have these systems and processes set up so that I know that they're going to add value. So every person that sets up, I can have 12 shows or whatever it takes. So yeah, that was kind of next level.
Yeah.
Is that added layer that he approaches his business with.
So, like, guys, today what we're going to be doing, I'm going to give you the roadmap for the next couple of weeks so that you're excited to show up on what we're doing. So today we're going to kind of build the foundation for your business, talking about core values, mission, vision, because this is what Andy's talking about, is the things that build loyalty. What he's talking about is we always hear know, like, and trust. But if you want people to invest and do business with you consistently for a lifetime, the thing that's missing, Whitney said, is loyalty. Like, this is what keeps people coming back. And it's so interesting, man. I experienced this the other day. I called one of my investors. Something didn't really work out on something. And so I had to make that hard phone call. Like, hey, man, this current deal that we have is not working out. I know you said you wanted to invest in it. Just kind of a hard conversation. I thought, like, I was expecting it to be a harder conversation. And you know what the guy said? He said, Ellis, don't worry about it. I'm with you. Yeah. And I was like, wow, that's powerful. He's like, it doesn't matter. I'm with you. And that really, like, Whitney's words rang in my ears of, like, I have loyalty with that guy. And so that's the difference of, okay, yeah, he knows, likes, and trusts me. But the reason we could go through a hard conversation to him to say, hey, I'm still with you, is because there's brand loyalty. And so I'm putting the pieces, help you put in the pieces today to help you build brand loyalty. So if you want loyalty with your investors, clients, type in the chat today, loyalty. So I want to make sure I'm speaking to the right crowd, because this is really, really powerful. And I want to show you the things that we learned about building brand loyalty with your folks. This is so, so powerful. Guys, I want to show you what I'm going to give you today. Okay, and I'll give this to you if you stay with me. So we have put together a guide to really help our community. Andy, I don't think I've shown you this, but we'll make sure we get this to all of our members. But I'm going to give it to everyone on this website, on this webinar today. This is our core vision, mission, vision document, right? And it essentially will walk you through your mission, your vision, and your core values. And guys, this is so important if you haven't done this yet, to really begin to put together. This is the foundation to building brand loyalty with people who want to work with you. And so this is what we're going to get in today is really building this. And so here's how I want to start. By the way, you guys want this? Would you raise your hand if you'd like this? That way Cheryl knows that we need to get this to you. Awesome. I see a lot of hands being raised. So if you want this, just raise your hand, let us know, and we'll make sure we get this doc to you, because this is really powerful. Put this together just for you. We want to continue to put great resources out to really serve you in your business. Awesome. Cheryl, if you're on here, or make sure we take note of everyone who wants this so we can get this to them. All right. So this is what Whitney shared. So this is a great story, and I've been wrestling with this because I don't think I've gotten really clear on this for our mastermind, Kingdom Real Estate Investors, but I haven't gotten very clear on this for our investment company yet. And so he said this, and this is going to really, I think, help all of us today. His vision, or his mission in his company, they're trying to grow their real estate company. All of us have a similar mission in that we're trying to grow our real estate portfolio, accomplish financial freedom for us, for our investors, right? Like our mission, and we'll get into the difference here, is somewhat similar. But the vision is what makes him so unique, because his vision is literally to gosh, what was it exactly, Andy? But essentially to help fund 1,000 adoptions through their nonprofit, through their real estate company which donates to their nonprofit. So like to really house or find homes for 1,000 orphans across the world. And they literally are using their syndication business in order to do that. And I'm going to tell you why that's so powerful, to get really clear on your vision, and your vision being beyond real estate, is because, and this just like, it really clicked for me. And I was even sitting on the plane yesterday and someone asked me what I do. And I realized, like, that's weak because it's weak when people don't ask follow-up questions. Hope you caught that. Your vision is weak when you tell people what you do and they don't ask follow-up questions. Anybody resonate with that? Because that's freaking good.
So good.
That hit me yesterday on the plane. I told the guy what I did, and he didn't say anything. And I'm like, okay, I need to play with that a little bit. All right. So listen to what Whitney said. He said when he goes to conferences and people ask him what I do. Hey man, what do you do? How many times you guys get asked that? A lot, I bet. He said, I tell him my vision. He said, I'm just paraphrasing this because I can't remember exactly how he said it, but our vision is to find homes for 1,000 orphans around the world through our real estate syndication company. And we essentially, we partner with investors to buy apartment buildings, which provide, capital and resources for our adoption nonprofit. On a scale of 1 to 10, how powerful, let me just ask you this, how different is that? If you're at a real estate conference on a scale of 1 to 10, how different is that from everybody else when you ask them what you do? Yeah, 100%. Danny says 8. Danny's heard some great vision. That's pretty interesting. 11 to 10, 8. Yeah, 8. So different. I mean, think about this. When he's at a real estate conference of 100, 300 people, or you're at a networking event, you're at a happy hour, you're sitting on a plane next to a guy, and you say, man, my passion is to bring homes to 1,000 orphans around the world. We run a real estate investment company that, essentially provides investment opportunities to investors. And through that, then we use, out of our proceeds or whatever to do that. Telling you, man, like that is the vision. He's gotten so clear on what his vision is, and it sets him apart from every other real estate syndicator in the game. And so this is why this is so important, because listen, when I talk about loyalty, I mean, this is why Whitney has been able in the last 3 years to go from $0 of assets to now over $150 million of real estate, and literally being able to raise as much capital as he wants. Who would not, anybody would like to be in that same position 3 years from now? I'm guessing the answer is yes. And his answer, like, how did you do it? And Andy shared this. He said, I have loyalty. I have loyalty with my investors. I have loyalty with my investors because I've stood out, because they're part of my vision and they want to help accomplish something much bigger than themselves. And so, guys, this is where you got to get really clear on your vision today. And I want to help you really do that and getting really clear on your vision. So I want to make this interactive. I want you to make sure you get out a piece of paper. Let's take notes. Let's really work through this today. And I want to bring some of you guys up to really give your vision, your mission, and allow the audience, if you would be bold enough, to really give some input. Okay. So maybe you've already done this, and that's great. Why don't you raise your hand here in a little bit, and then we'll bring you up on stage, and you can share with somebody else. You can share it with everyone here today, and let them give input on what you're doing. Okay. So, and I'm just going to disable talking for now. So, here we go. So this is what I want to, let's pull this back up, this core value doc, and talk about this. So guys, mission is the reason why your company exists. It is the visible and tangible effect you want your company to create for your customers in the world. I'm going to save core values for at the end. Your vision is what success looks like for your company. It is what your company aspires to be in the future. It is how the world will look like once you've accomplished your mission. So what Whitney is saying is we're accomplishing our mission of growing our real estate portfolio, right? Creating financial freedom for investors, creating capital so that we can accomplish our vision, which is to fund or bring 1,000 orphans into homes. Okay. And so here are some, and I'm going to send this to you, but I want you to work on this today. And I'm going to give you some examples of mission statements. So what motivates you as a person? Okay. Who are you as a company? What are the things you value? What problems do you solve for your clients? What is your primary service or product? So when we talk about mission, I do think this is more geared towards, if you're a real estate syndicator or if you're a real estate investor, what problem do you solve for your clients is your mission. Okay. What is the problem that you solve? Let's look at some mission statements. Amazon, we strive to offer our customers the lowest possible prices and the best available selection and the utmost convenience. Okay. This is their mission. Lowest possible prices. That's the problem they're trying to solve for folks. So let me ask you this question, guys. Do you know the problems of your investors? Throw out some of the problems. Like, let's help each other. Seriously, I want to help each other on this call today. What are some of the problems that you solve? Not solutions. What are the problems? Type them in the chat just so we can help each other. Like, if you're a real estate investor, what are the problems that you solve? And that could be for homeowners. If you're in wholesaling or fix and flipping, that could be investors. What are some of the problems that you solve through your business? Because this is going to be where your mission statement becomes really powerful. And this is what you're communicating to people too. So this has got to be really clear. What are some problems you solve? I mean, generating passive income, tax liabilities. Okay, so you're saying, Courtney, people want passive income. Okay, let me dive in a little bit for you, Courtney. That's a solution, not a problem. Okay, and this is going to make you a better communicator. All right, because a passive income is not a problem. Tax liabilities is not a problem. A problem is when my buddy called me last week and said, hey man, I really need to know how to place $500K because I live in California and I need passive income because I work and live in California. I'm not sure if I want to get the vaccine. I'm a sales guy, and so everything is built centered around me, right? Like I produce, and that's how I get paid. So one, what happens if I stop producing? And two, what if California says I can no longer work at my job because I don't want to get the vaccine and I'm forced to quit or I'm forced to leave out? I need passive income. That's the problem. Passive income is the solution, right? So to help you become a more powerful communicator and really figuring out your vision is, why do people want passive income? So many people are throwing out passive income, but why? Like, I hope you see that's the difference there, Courtney. I hope that's helpful. So what problem are you trying to solve? I want to give people the freedom to be able to live a life of impact and purpose, not tied to their job, right? So that you can quit your job, so that, whatever it is, like, that's not really mine, but I'm just throwing stuff out there. So what we have some stuff out here. People don't know where to put their money. Andy says, yeah, so maybe it's, the problem is I make a lot of money, but I don't know how to multiply it. I met a business owner the other day, and he said, we were talking about investing in some of our deals. He said, listen, man, I don't really need the cash flow. I make plenty of cash in my business, but I want to leave a legacy for my family. So like, I just need a place to put money, right? So his problem is not cash flow. His problem is, I just don't really know how to go like multiply it so that it can impact the generation after me, right? So how do I keep it, like, exactly, Dave, how do I preserve it and grow it? But again, let's tie it to a problem. His problem is, I don't know that my family, my kids, my grandkids will have cash flow or wealth to be able to use and live off of after I'm gone. Because what happens when me, the business owner, dies or leaves? Am I putting them in a best position? That's the problem. He was worried about his kids. So quit talking about the benefits and talk about the problems. Telling you guys, this is gold stuff, that really trying to dial this into your mission, while everybody else is talking about passive income and tax liabilities and all this other benefits. You're like getting to the heart. This is how you build loyalty, because people are like, why do I want passive income? I don't know, because Grant Cardone keeps talking about it. But when you tie it to their problem, they're like, that's my guy. He gets me. Or that's my girl. She gets me. So powerful. Like, I'm going to tell you, Grant Cardone is the best marketer for my business, because he's convinced everyone in the world that they need cash flow. And nobody knows why. So what I do is use Grant's messaging of cash flow, cash flow, cash flow, and then tie it to specific problems that my investors have. And so Grant's promoting cash flow, I'm promoting the problem. And they say, Ellis is my guy. Thank you, Grant Cardone, for teaching me about why I need to invest in real estate. Like, this is the difference. This is why there's no shortage of capital out there. Okay. There's just a shortage of really good communicators and people who know and want to solve people's problems. This is what makes you a great entrepreneur, learning people's problems. So what are some other stuff? Inflation eating away at purchasing power. Okay. Yeah, Greg, that's really good. But again, like, make that emotional. It's kind of cold. So what? Creating financial freedom for my family and others. Get away from being dependent on an employer. Yes, Courtney, what happens if you lose your job? Right? Like, to that point, like, if COVID, this whole vaccine thing in California blows up, and he doesn't have a job anymore because he doesn't want to get vaccinated. Right? That's a serious concern for Californians. People have a problem finding opportunities to invest while making an impact. Yeah, like, Andy, that's a huge one. And guys, so many people now are wanting their dollar to do more than just one thing. Like, realize that. That's why Whitney's vision is so powerful, because people are demanding that their dollar, and this is not just the investor, this is also the consumer. If you look at powerful brands right now, like, they're tying their product to a an impact solution, right? Because people want to know and feel that whenever they buy something, whenever they invest in something, that it's doing more than just returning profit, that it's also helping others. So I see that as a huge, huge problem that if you can solve or tie into your vision, as this will really make you powerful, a powerful, powerful company and more profitable in the future if you get really clear on what is the bigger problem you're trying to solve in the world that people can be a part of. Yeah. Net worth being potentially slashed in the next big recession, just like the last recession. Right. Right. Equity in house. Yeah. Is flammable and not growing. Where do I put it? Yeah, I'm trying to think about this equity. You know, there's a lot of equity in houses right now. I just don't think, Andy, and maybe I'm wrong here, and we could discuss this later. I just don't think most people see the equity in their house as a problem. Only because they've been brainwashed that they need to pay down their house. So like, I just don't think people see that as a problem. Like, how can we tie that to a bigger issue where they can use equity in their home, right? So maybe, yeah, maybe, Andy. I mean, I could be totally wrong. I didn't own a house in 2006, but I don't know. I just don't see a lot of folks, even investors of mine, seeing equity in their home as something to maybe, but again, but it's a huge opportunity, I would say. I'm not convinced that people see it as a problem yet. All right, so guys, this is what I mean by what are the problems that you solve, and getting really clear on this. So write out your mission statement. Like, what are the problems that you solve? Okay, and how does your product provide solutions to that? And here's what I would even, if you don't know exactly what this is yet, think about a person and just write this down for an individual. Honestly, like, write this down. Like, I think about, I'm just going to call him James because that's my first name. I don't know if you guys know that. So James, but talking to an investor, his problem was he was concerned about his future in terms of working. And so providing passive cash flow so that he can have peace of mind about what happens with his job, right? So we provide real estate, we provide investment opportunities that give him stable cash flow and a predictable, wealth building strategy, which gives him peace of mind for the future, right? So I'm thinking about him in particular. And so maybe you need to do that for multiple people individually first, tie that to your product, and then figure out what is your overall mission. So think about people individually when you do this. All right. So this is how you come up with a powerful mission statement, is when you get really clear on what are the problems of your people. And guys, let me see if I can pull this up. If you don't know what this is yet, let me show you a really, really powerful worksheet. Can I show you one more thing? You can screenshot this or whatever. Okay. I'm just giving this to you for free today. Put this in your onboarding process. Okay. Put this in your onboarding process. Put this on your investor call, like however you onboard folks or however you bring in new clients, put this as a part of your process. So if you want to become a member of the Kingdom REI Mastermind, Kingdom Real Estate Investors, you have to fill out an application, and all 4 of these questions are on the application. And this allows us to know what are the problems and concerns of our community so that we can get more clear on our messaging in the future. And so if you don't know what your problems are yet, go to the 10 customers you have or the 50 investors you have and say, hey, John, you got 10 minutes to talk today? I'd love to ask you a couple questions as we're trying to get really clear on who we are and who we serve, right? Or how we can better serve you in the future. And get on the phone with him for 10 minutes and just ask him these questions. Send him a Starbucks gift card afterwards, right? So the first question, what is your biggest fear? What's your biggest frustration? If you can wave a magic wand, what do you really want? Guys, the answer is not passive income. Just so we're clear. The answer is not, I want passive income, okay? Do we get that? Like, on a scale, like, can I just hear some, oh yeah, like some like 100s? Throw me some. The answer is not, the result I want is not passive income. Yeah, thank you. Stop saying that. Like, it'll make you so much different. Why do we want cash flow? Right? And then what are your biggest aspirations in life right now? That's what's going to make you a powerful communicator and really make your mission powerful. So write down your mission statement right now. Write down something. Think about somebody. I want you to do this because I want to bring somebody up. What's your mission? Let's go back to some examples. I'll show you the examples real quick. Mission statements. Here's some examples. We strive to offer our customers the lowest possible prices, the best available selection. To make Target the preferred shopping destination for our guests by delivering outstanding value, continuous innovation, and exceptional guest experience. Virgin, to grow a profitable airline that people love to fly and where people love to work. Give you one more example. Kingdom Real Estate Investors, to be the go-to and recognized community and organization for kingdom leaders looking to multiply their real estate portfolio, income, and impact through joint ventures and collaborations. Okay. We're building a community for kingdom leaders who want to multiply their real estate portfolio, their income, and their impact. How? Through joint ventures and collaborations, right? So this is our mission statement. All right, take a second. Who's got this? Who would like to get some feedback right now? I mean, this is the best time. Like, guys, don't be shy. Like, just practice it. Immediate feedback. This is why you joined this webinar, trying to grow.
So this was something I'm just literally within the last month have started working on a real estate syndication company with a couple of people that I met at the Real Estate Guys Summit. So this is something that I literally just started working on this morning. I mean, we are at the very, very beginnings of this. So
Right.
And obviously I have a lot to work on and a lot to go through. But I sent this to my friends and it says, our goal is to build relationships with investors so we can empower them to break free from the daily grind and create financial freedom. Passive investing through different asset classes such as multifamily homes and storage. To create an opportunity to build wealth, not just for today, but for generations. And then I kind of go into some things that real estate has to offer, I'm not really sure. I'm very big into sex trafficking and that sort of thing. I don't know what that is going to look like and how I'm going to be involved in that just yet, but that is part of my ultimate goal. But I have not sat down and broken down these mission and vision statements. So that's going to be next.
Well, that's really good. And your vision, if that has something to do with, preventing or solving the massive problem of the sex trafficking industry, can be part of your vision, right?
Okay. Our goal is to build relationships with investors so we can empower them to break free from the daily grind and create financial freedom. Passive investing through different asset classes such as multifamily homes and storage create an opportunity to build wealth, not just for today, but for generations.
Okay, good. So I wrote down a couple words that I heard in there: empower, daily grind, financial freedom, passive investing, multifamily storage. So here's a couple thoughts I have, and I'd love to hear from the chat too. I would get a little more specific on daily grind.
Okay.
I don't really, I understand what you mean by that, but I also don't understand what you mean by that, because who are you really serving? Are you serving, like when you say daily grind, is that someone who's a W-2 worker? Is that a stay-at-home mom? Like, I just think like the more clear you can get on, especially starting out, Courtney, do not try and target the broad range of investors. Like, go find an investor that has a specific problem that you want to solve for. So like, and then tie that into your mission statement. That makes sense. Like, so the daily grind, who is that? And get a little bit more clear on that. Andy says, I think you can simplify a bit. It is wordy.
Okay.
And so, Dave says maybe chime in more on financial freedom, paint a picture a little bit.
Okay.
Again, what is financial freedom? Like, again, maybe tie that back to the daily grind.
Well,
To
and that
free you
probably
from
looks different to different people as well.
100%. That's exactly why I'm saying do not try and market this early on, especially to everyone. You've got to get specific on exactly the type of investor you're trying to serve.
Okay.
Because let me ask you this, Courtney, wouldn't you rather go raise, like, I mean, to do your first syndication deal, you really only need $2 or $3 million. Like, the problem is most people are trying to market to the whole broad audience when really they just need a couple $1 million to get started. And you know what I'm saying? So like the more clear you get, and then you don't have to stay niche. You just have to start niche.
Right. Right. And that's one of the things that we're hoping for is to build that loyalty and to go to have that group of people that want to stick with us. And we know that every single time we come up with a new investment or a new deal, those people are in. We want that for sure.
Yeah. Danny says, Courtney, have you connected with IJM, International Justice Mission? Great organization. He's donated it for the last 10 years. So maybe there's a way you can work with IJM and your syndication company or whatever and tie that in. So that's a great idea, Danny.
Okay, I will write that. And it's IJN.
Yeah, International Justice Mission. They're a very respected organization that's doing a lot to fight sex trafficking across the globe.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for that.
Yes, Courtney, absolutely. Keep in touch.
Hey, thanks, Ellis. Yeah, I'd love to have feedback from everybody. Our mission is to transform 40 communities in 4 years through investing in real estate.
Transform 40 communities in 40 years via real estate. That's
4 years.
4 years, sorry. Of course, why 40? You're thinking way too big than 40 years. Dave asked some great questions. What does transform mean? More affordable, make them more livable. Transform can mean a lot of things. It's a great point, Dave. Clean them up. Yeah, it really leaves it ambiguous.
Okay, that's good.
I would also think, I mean, because here's the thing, Andy, like your mission doesn't really tie into investors. So yeah, like I think it can, like if I can understand what you're trying to do there, but it doesn't really solve my problem if I want to invest with you.
So if I tease it out a little bit, investing in world-class operators that are doing good, is that still too broad?
Yeah, because it doesn't, the question is like the problem with that is just it still hasn't solved my problem. Like as an investor, and you've not investing in world-class operator and doing good. That hasn't addressed a problem for me. Like to go back to Amazon, for example.
Like it goes back to kind of you not knowing what to do with your money.
Okay. So if that's a problem you're trying to solve, like we provide a predictable, like I think you got to tie through investing in build to rent, something like the solution, how you help investors have a, predictable wealth building strategy is by investing in this asset class, which, has a component of good or something. Like, I think, I'm trying to think of some like really powerful, like who's doing this really well, but because what I think what you're trying to say is there's a really impact component of what you guys are doing. You're really building and transforming communities, which is amazing. You're missing though, one, what does transform mean? But even before that, what's the problem that you solve for investors that they would want to even come and be a part of this? And be careful too, though, Andy, like your vision of transforming or whatever may not necessarily be part of your mission too, because your vision can be bigger, right? Of like, we want to help 1,000, like for example, in our faith-based fund, like we wanted to see, 10,000 people come to Christ. That wasn't necessarily part of our mission, but it was part of our vision through partnering with Apartment Life, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I
Oh,
didn't see. Was there any other?
Dave says providing predictable paths to returns while helping solve America's growing affordable housing crisis. Oh, that's good, Dave.
It is really good, Dave.
That's great, Dave. I love that. That's so good. It almost like your investors get to invest into something that makes them money, but also makes them feel great. Yeah, like so good. Make them feel great about their investing. And your thing is just too vague, man. Like honestly, you should
No, that's really
providing
good. I love what Dave
predictable
said.
past returns while helping solve America's growing affordable housing crisis. That's freaking phenomenal. Really, really good. So, guys, this is where it ties into a bigger vision. Like, what are you trying to accomplish? Like, zoom out and think about the overall, the big picture here, right? So, LinkedIn, create economic opportunity for every member of the global workforce. Disney, to entertain, inform, and inspire people around the globe. Like, vision is big, right? Like, that's why I love a good big vision. Connect friends in the world around you on Facebook. Like, what's the vision that ultimately your company's going to accomplish over your lifetime? And guys, I'm gonna tell you why this is so powerful. Like, to Courtney's point, is why I hope she can tie in her love and desire to end sex trafficking to her real estate syndication company, is because this is what will keep you motivated for a lifetime. Like, I don't know if you guys have read the book by the CEO of Blackstone. If you haven't read it, what's it called? Somebody put in the chat the name of the book. I just read it. It's so good. But he says, one of his tips for building a world-class company is, if you're going to start a company, what it takes, Courtney. Thank you. The book's called What It Takes. What it takes to build $1 billion company. He's like, you gotta create something that you're willing to commit your life to. And I'm not gonna lie, when I read that, like, I really questioned my life. I'm like, dang, am I really building something right now that I want to commit my life to? And this is where, guys, I think tying your vision into your company can make something ordained like real estate investing into something really spiritual, something really impactful, something really powerful. Is my vision for what I want to see happen in the world. Can my business help accomplish that? And so I think vision has to be big. It has to be, and it's okay if it's tied to you. I mean, and Whitney's passion is adoption. They've adopted 3 kids, right? So it's his company. He can tie to whatever he wants, and so can you. And just make it big enough where people can be a part of it. And so our vision with Kingdom REI, Kingdom Real Estate Investors, to help kingdom leaders across the country unleash and multiply their God-given talents while building life-transforming relationships. So that's our vision there. So we're thinking national, and it has nothing to really do about real estate, right? Our vision really doesn't. We don't use the word real estate in there or portfolio. We talk about helping them unleash and multiply their God-given talents and relationships. Like, ultimately, we see what we do that is not necessarily real estate driven, right? Like, what we want to do is help unleash kingdom leaders with their talents and do that through relationships, right? Like, so it has nothing to do with real estate. Actually, our vision, real estate is just the vehicle. It's the thing that brings us together. Honestly, if I'd have got started in e-commerce, I might have started Kingdom, e-commerce investors. Like, real estate's just the vehicle that I chose early on and built a community around it. If it would have been e-commerce or marketing, like, I would have started something different. So our vision is not necessarily tied to real estate. Yeah, Kingdom drop shipping, Dave. Exactly. I could have. I looked at all kind of crap when I got started, man. If anybody wants to start Kingdom drop shipping, I'm in, by the way. A lot of money to be made there. So vision. What are 3 outcomes? Here's some questions for you. We'll send this to you guys. What are 3 outcomes or benefits you fight for? Why should your clients pay more for your services as opposed to your competitors? What makes your company different? So this is your vision statement, okay? Like, tie this to something bigger.
Yeah, what's up, man? Hey, so I'm starting a private lending hard money company, and I'm a residential real estate investor. So that's how I've kind of got into the whole raising capital game. But
Yeah.
I like your why should your clients pay more, and I'm huge on this. But we argue because as a lender, I think so many people's relationships with lenders is just transactional. It's let's close the loan and then it's a done deal. You know what I mean? If I service the loan as opposed to like a bank, and we want you to succeed. I don't just originate it and sell it on the market. And hey, if you default, it's not my problem. You know what I mean? I made my money. Uh, I I personally have encountered that as a investor, is I feel like not a lot of companies actually cared about maybe helping investors grow. Maybe like I've been rejected for loans, and it's like, well, why? It's like, well, you just don't meet our qualifications. It's like, well, what should I do instead? You know what I mean? So I feel like this is kind of the new age of entrepreneurship, where it's like now we obviously talk about this in raising capital with Hunter Thompson, stuff like that. But if if you provide more value, I think people are always willing to pay more money. I mean, I think that's just the new way things are going.
You're hitting on something, Dave. Absolutely. So I'm creating a list in my mind of all my experiences that serve it. Like, I don't even know. I want to get on a rant right now, because the bar for service across so many industries is so low right now.
There is no bar. It's horrible.
It's unbelievable. Like American Airlines yesterday, if I could tell you the horror stories yesterday of flying with American, and I looked at my wife, she's like, I know. I went to one of the top breweries in San Diego the other day. The service is gone. I mean, if you can just get freaking good at servicing clients and give them a wow experience, like, you will have loyalty. Like, none of this stuff.
You'll be a billionaire.
Yeah, none of this stuff that I'm talking
about. You'll make more money than everybody else.
You just want the shortcut, just service people better, because the bar every day and every company they interact with is, excuse my language, total shit. Like, it's how low it is. Like, it is just bad. And so you're so right, Dave. So if you can really tap into that, what is your vision, Dave? Do you have a vision you can share for your company?
I mean, my vision. So my vision is, there's a lot of different parts to it. One of the main reasons I got into real estate is I have a father who's a doctor. He lost a lot of wealth during 2008 in the traditional markets. So I got into real estate investing a couple of years ago. He started lending on some of my deals. I started teaching him. I started making my own money. He's obviously been making returns, but we've continually educated ourselves on finance and investing and how to make money. And now I want to unlock it to other doctors. And obviously I'm biased, but they work very hard and they don't have a lot of downtime that maybe, say, business people have. He was a surgeon. So when you're operating a lot, you don't have a lot of time to figure this stuff out. And I feel like there's a lot of people, they're doing like really good things. They're servicing people and they're saving lives, helping lives, whatever. But then there's a subset of people in Wall Street, and maybe some people agree or disagree with me, but this is the truth from my experience, that prey upon them. They realize these people are making good money. We can go get their assets under management, blah, 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 blah. We can make, excuse my language, shit returns for the last 20 years, and then tell them they're on their own when it comes to retirement, where I would like to help empower those people. Just like as a residential real estate investor flipping houses myself, I'd like a lender that was as dedicated to me as my father, that, was able to lend on deals and help me grow my business and was interested in me scaling my business. So there's many levels to it. And then,
and I think it's really good. And just so you guys, like, and I hear this, that, and what you're saying is, I got to move here in a minute, is, your vision and mission is tied to doctors specifically. And going back to Courtney, I hope Courtney's still listening. By the way, if I'm a doctor and I'm listening, and Dave, we haven't gotten to this, we're going to get into this later in this coming weeks, is story. Like, your story is tied to the mission and vision of your company. And it's very specific. And so if I'm a doctor, even though Dave's not a doctor, Dave has already built trust with me as a doctor, because of his story. Like, it's so good, Dave. So like, I don't know if you've dialed that in already, or if you're out sharing that with doctors and lawyers and doctor podcast and doctor YouTube.
We're working on it right now. We're actually working on it.
But it's good,
we're
man. You
spending
got a good
ton of
niche,
time.
and I think that's right on, dude. So I'm excited. I mean, you're that's the hardest thing, man, is messaging and marketing. And, it's just your product is a product. So really cool to hear that, bro. So I'm excited for
Thank you.
to keep in touch, man, on this. Guys, we got about 5 minutes here before we roll, but I got one more thing I want to share, and I think this is so key for the culture you're building in your company, or your core values. So these are internal. So these are not necessarily shared with customers, right? So we have core values with our mastermind that aren't necessarily we would put on a banner, right? We just know as a company, as an organization, this is the things that we hold true. So when we evaluated our mastermind last week, and I'll give you a great example of this, because guys, this is so important for how you do everything in your business. Okay, so our core values here's a couple of them. But number 4, I want to show you number 4 and how, like, why these are so important to what you're doing. So number 4 is we're obsessed with creating the wow. We want to treat everyone like they're millionaires. We want to display gratitude in various ways. People remember how you make them feel, not what you said. So everyone in our company knows we're obsessed with creating the wow. So we did an event at some hotel in Dallas, and I'll be honest with you, I thought the venue sucked. And so it just didn't create the wow. Like, I just didn't walk in and was like, wow, I'm inspired to be in this venue. So we'll never go there again. And then we've already made plans to our next venue in San Diego in November is overlooking the San Diego Bay. It overlooks the water, and people are going to walk in and be like, wow, because we did not wow people when they came to Dallas. Now, we did a bunch of other stuff that I think was freaking awesome. Like, we rented a suite at the baseball game. We did a private whiskey tasting, and we did some cool stuff, but it doesn't matter. There was one thing that wasn't wow, and we changed it. So like, knowing what your core values are shape everything that you do. And so this is so key to really build out early on, right? Because it matters who you bring in. I mean, when I hired Pete, if you guys know Pete, we went over these core values, and I said, here's the job position. Are you sure that you can live out to these core values based on your position? He's like, yeah. I'm like, why? How? When is the last time you wowed somebody? Right? And so this is going to be really, really key to growing and building your team. So core values. So here's a couple other examples. Dave's vivid vision is so, I mean, well, let me get in that. But here's some examples. Even though, to be honest with you, I think these kind of suck, but people first, innovation, excellence, simplicity, generosity is push, pay, Wayfair. We hustle and take big risks. We refuse to settle. We work together. We think big. Those are pretty good. I like those. So these are internal. These shape who you hire and who you fire. You should be hiring and firing based on your core values. So if you want to grow a team, you don't have core values, I would argue that you do not know if you're hiring the right people. Okay? So core values is so key in really thinking. Again, this can be to you. I'm going to be honest with you. And here's the way I set my core values. I said our goal is to build our community to 50 members by the end of the year. Okay? That's our goal. That's what we're trying to get to. And what are the core values that we have to own as an organization in order to get there, right? So if your goal is to get to whatever under management or to lend this much or whatever, what core values do you and everyone in your organization have to own in order to get there? Okay? So like, I'll give you another great example of that. Extreme ownership is the number one core value for us. Why? Is because we're a small team. We're trying to grow fast. And sometimes you're going to be asked to do stuff that you don't know how to do. And oftentimes, actually. So I don't need people on the team saying, well, Ellis, I don't know how to do that. I can't do that because no one taught me that. Guys, that would drive me nuts. Everything I've done is based on stuff I don't know how to do yet. So extreme ownership is like, you don't know how to plan an event. Like Pete's never I don't think planned an event for 40 people before, you know, or he's never lined up caterers for events. But Pete didn't say, Ellis, I never did that before. I don't think I can do that because I've never done that. He's like, on it. And when I told him that the event sucked, not the event, the venue sucked, he's like, yeah, I know. Let's make that right. Right. And we have a place overlooking the bay come November. So like your core values should be tied to where you're trying to go from a mission standpoint. Yeah, Pete was on it 100%. So I hope you just understand how all this ties together. Your core values, your mission, your vision, your core values. Because I'm not gonna lie, this is something I skipped first year in business. And then I read Traction and I read Vivid Vision, and I realized how important this was for our company. So Traction, Vivid Vision, I really, really recommend both of those books as well. I asked our community this question this week is, what do you want? Like, what do you really want? And how does your business help accomplish that? And so if there's anything, guys, coming away from this today, I just hope you answer the question, what do you want? And your business is just a business. Remember that. Your business is just a business. Your vision and what you want out of life is much more important. Don't be so emotional about this thing, man. But figure out, how do you build your business to accomplish your vision? What are you walking away here needing to do? Write it down, put it in the chat so that you're accountable to yourself. This is not for me, by the way. I've already done this stuff. Write it down so you know this is what you have to go leaving here. What is the action? I hope you do not just spend an hour with me and do nothing. Or not going to go do anything. So what's your one big action item leaving here? You're going to go develop your vision, your core values. Let's go. Courtney's going to get really clear on how to connect with her investors. I love that. Yeah. Finish up my vivid vision. Dave, I know I've read the book twice now, actually, and I haven't gotten really clear on my vivid vision. So this is the book Vivid Vision. Actually, I carry it with me everywhere because it's a reminder that I haven't finished it. So good stuff.
A few things. I'm working on the vision. First, I want to thank you and Pete for the event you guys put on. It was well worth the trip all the way from Europe, and I really appreciate it. And everyone in the group, I definitely, I know I'm in the right place with what you've built there. So right now, actually, during this webinar, putting in, we're going back and forth, final offer on 7 units, a fourplex and the triplex. So that's exciting. The first one, besides what I already retained. And that's the one I brought up in the hot seat during the event as well, that we'll be able to hopefully build more units on. And then also a second thing was amazing that you brought up Whitney, because Whitney and I had talked and back and forth. And I was 5 minutes late to this event because I was scheduling a call with him in a week and discussing with my wife on whether we should, as far as do the one-on-one with him, and little hints following the trail God leads out for us, and just had a strong pull with him on our stories and how we had the parallel, and also to include with adoption. And man, you just happened. I logged in, just booked the meeting with him, and then you're talking about him. I couldn't believe it. Could not believe it. But yeah, so buying a property right now, booked with Whitney. Just I told everyone there I had no social media at all. I've now got my own webpage. I've done my domain. I've got Facebook. I apologize for waiting. LinkedIn. I've got LinkedIn.
Let's go, man. Hey,
Also,
guys, that's what you mean by talking action. That's what I mean by taking action. Sean came all the way from Germany and said, I'm coming to this, and he left by taking action. That's why Sean's in, man. Like, that's the kind of people I want to be around. People who listen, realize there's gaps in what they're doing, and freaking don't wait. Like, awesome job, man.
No, sir. You guys help motivate me, and being a part of this community is really giving the confidence and motivation to massive action, Ellis. Thank you.
Cool. All right. Go be great, guys. Go be great. You're one connection away. Don't forget that. You're one connection away from really accomplishing your dream, your vision. Get clear on what you want, though. If you don't know what you want, then how do you know if you're heading in that right direction? So make sure you don't skip this stuff, guys. All right. We'll see you next week. Ciao.